Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to all presenters and participants of the conference. My name is Zahra Azmi bin Zaidi from College Universiti Islam Antarabangsa Selangor, and here I would like to present my paper titled FAISAL TEHRANI'S the Professor, a Radical Feminism Critique of the Patriarchal Ideology in the Malay Muslim Society. Faisal Tehrani is a prolific writer who has written more than 30 titles on themes such as politics, religion, feminism, LGBT, human rights, etc. His works have not shied away from controversies, and oftentimes this has led to the confrontation with authority. A lot of Faisal Tehrani's works delve into issues that concern human rights. One of the issues that get the spotlight in Faisal Tehrani's works is the issue of women's rights, which are championed by the feminist movement. However, the researcher notices that there has hardly been any study that looks into the issue of women's rights in his works. One particular work by Faisal Tehrani that needs to be looked at and studied with regard to women's rights is the novel The Professor, which was published in 2020 by Gerak Budaya Enterprise. The main objective of this study is to see how radical feminism is used to criticize the presence of patriarchal ideology in the Malay Muslim society as portrayed in the novel The Professor. The study aims to investigate how patriarchal views on women's virginity, marriage, the position of men and women in society, and also sex are challenged by radical feminism. Text analysis based on feminist criticism theory is utilized in order to analyze the novel The Professor by Faisal Tehrani. According to Showalter, as cited by Suhaimi Abdul Aziz 2014, there are two main approaches to feminist criticism, namely feminist critique and gyno critique. Feminist critique is an approach that gives attention to women as reader or critic, that is, women or female critics who read works by male writers. On the other hand, gyno critique is a type of critique that gives attention to women readers as the critics who specifically read works by female writers. However, it must be noted that female criticism is not exclusively the domain of female critics, but male critics or male feminist critics too can utilize feminist criticism for their critiques. According to Showalter, this enterprise, that is feminist criticism, should not be confined to women only. The text used for this study, that is The Professor by Faisal Tehrani, was published by Gerak Budaya Enterprise in 2020. The novel was originally written in Bahasa Malaysia, titled Professor, published by Buku Fiksi in 2017, and it was translated into English by Bridget Bresson. Now I will discuss the findings of this study, and I will divide the discussion into four sections. The first section discusses how radical feminism challenges patriarchal view on virginity. There are two incidents in the novel that involve rape scenes. One is when Wan Rose was raped by Ustaz Haizam and Ustaz Zahar, and this incident was witnessed by Suliza. The two religious teachers raped Wan Rose because she was accused of being a lesbian. According to Ustaz Haizam, to cure a lesbian, she needs to taste a man's prick. And he continues by saying, "This is lesbian medicine. Once you taste it, you want more." Meanwhile, Ustaz Zahar said the action taken was a warning and claimed that "I don't really like to rape disgusting kids like you." The other incident was the raping of Hashimah Shim by Ustaz Idrus, whose real name was Qasim. And after this incident, Hashimah got herself married to Ustaz Idrus, and this marked the beginning of Hashimah's lives in an endless cycle of sexual abuse. These two incidents show how in a male-dominated society, women's virginity is seen to be owned by men. Men even have the rights to breach into women's individual space under the guise of saving or delivering women from sin or living a sinful life. When Ustaz Haizam and Ustaz Zahar raped Wan Rose, they believed that they were doing Wan Rose a favor. Women are thought only to become true women when they have any desire towards men to whom they surrender their virginity. Meanwhile, Ustaz Idrus raped Hashimah Shim because according to him, that was what Hashimah had wanted from him. This is stated in on page 110 of the novel. The way Suliza and Hashimah Shim react to these hideous incidents was by turning themselves to lesbianism, as they had witnessed the harrowing effect of women's power and desire. To them, being lesbians allowed them to explore their own sexuality and desire rather than it being dictated or imposed by men. Suliza told Hashimah Shim that women should be able to make their own decisions. She said, "Your body belongs to you, Hashi. Don't let others use you if you are not ready. Don't let him hurt you. Do not let him do anything that you don't like." For the second section of the discussion on the findings, we will look at how radical feminism challenges patriarchal view on marriage. In the novel, readers are presented with two marriages. The first one is the marriage between Jebat and Dalila, and the second one is the marriage between Hashim and Ustaz Idrus. Dalila was a secret lover to Professor Suliza. After Dr. Suliza's murder by the religious fanatics, Dalila succumbed to depression and functional amnesia, which caused her to only remember new things and forget the past. When she met Jebat in Japan, they got married. Dalila married Jebat not only because she was attracted to him, but she thought that Jebat could link her to her past, as Jebat appeared to have known Professor Suliza. Dalila realized the marriage was a betrayal instead when she found out that her husband, Jebat, had wanted to keep her past deleted from her memory. This is stated on page 237 of the novel. Meanwhile, the marriage between Hashim and Ustaz Idrus was a forced and abusive marriage. It is known that Hashima had to marry Ustaz Idrus because she was raped by him. It is written in the novel, she married Idrus. Why? Because that's what ought to happen when a woman is raped. Idrus, despite being a religious person, was abusive towards Hashima. On page 240, it is stated that she was always forced to have sex whenever her husband felt like it, once he approached her while she was praying. Hashima also had to sell her late stepmother's coffee shop to support Ustaz Idrus' jihad work, and she also had to work as a cleaner at the National University of Malaysia, where she met Professor Suliza, and due to heavy work and stressful situation, she had a miscarriage. The third section of the findings discusses how radical feminism challenges patriarchal view on man-women position in the society. The novel presents its readers with several dominant male characters. They are Ustaz Haizam and Ustaz Azhar, Ustaz Idrus, and also Jebat. Although these individuals hold positions that are highly respected in the society, the novel proves that the outer self does not mirror their true character and personality. For example, as religious teachers, Ustaz Haizam and Ustaz Azhar should be the ones who set the example of pious conduct and excellent behavior. However, in the novel, the two Ustaz conduct was nothing less than despicable. Their action towards Wan Rose, when they raped her, was cruel and sadistic, even though they claimed that they were doing it in order to save her, that is, curing her of her homosexuality. As for Ustaz Idrus, he was a respected preacher who had loyal followers. Hashim at first was attracted to this religious man because of his eloquence, charisma, and passion in preaching the message of Islam. Besides, she was also attracted to his soft-spoken manner and manly looks. However, she later found out about Ustaz Idrus' true colors. He was an animal, a brute, and an abuser. He raped Hashima and later married her. As a husband, he was cruel to his wife. He abused her physically and mentally, and would use her for his benefit. Finally, Jebat, who is an academician and a scholar, too has his weakness. He easily falls for women, and the ones that he is much attracted to are women who are strong and intelligent. His first sexual encounter with Dr. Anouk, a French professor, has made him a sexually active man, and later when he saw Dalila, he was sexually attracted to her too. So although Jebat was an intelligent man and also charismatic, he would find himself submit to the seduction of these women. The fourth and final section of discussion looks at how radical feminism challenges patriarchal view on sex. There are a lot of explicit, daring, and graphic sex scenes in the novel. The sex scenes can be categorized as homosexual sex, heterosexual sex, and rape scenes. The homosexual sex scenes can be seen from the sexual encounters between Suliza and Dalila, and also between Suliza and Hashim. The heterosexual sex scenes are the scenes that involve sexual intercourse between Jebat and Dalila, and also between Jebat and Dr. Anouk. The rape scenes are the scenes where Ustaz Haizam and Ustaz Azhar raped Wan Rose, and also when Ustaz Idrus raped Hashim. All these sexual scenes are described in such explicit way, and it is seen as a form of a challenge made towards patriarchal ideology that sees or that treats sex as a taboo subject matter and should not be talked about openly. As for the conclusion, from this study it can be concluded that the patriarchal ideology in the Malay Muslim society as presented in novel has been challenged by radical feminism in matters of virginity, marriage, man-women position in society, and also sex. Also, despite the novel is written by a male writer, it is pro-feminism and fully supports the feminist agenda. Thank you.